皆さん、こんにちは。ミッキー京子です。今日はもう一人のスペシャルゲストに来ていただいております。Would you tell us your name, please?
Yes, of course. My name is Lane.
Can you say it again?
Lane.
Thank you. His name starts with L, so Lane. Lane. Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Well, I'd like to ask you where you are from. I mean, just this time. So I know you're from California.
Yes,
And please hold this.
of course.
And then, can you see
This way, just a
this
little.
way?
Yeah, just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so I'm from Los Angeles, California, which is down here. And I actually live a little bit outside of it in a place called Glendale, but it's still Los Angeles.
Then you flew from Los Angeles to.
Yeah, I flew from Los Angeles here on the West Coast all the way across to Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Yes.
And I stayed there for a few hours before flying up here to Asheville.
Thank you.
Of course.
And I understand you took night flight. It's called red eye.
It is. It's called the red eye, yeah, because you wake up with red eyes. You're so tired. Yeah.
That's right. Red eye flight. Actually, what time did you leave?
So I left Los Angeles at I think 10:20 p.m. And so I had to get to the airport at around 9 p.m. and then get on my flight. So yeah, we left at 10:20 p.m. There was a little bit of a delay, so I don't think we actually took off till 11.
Yes.
And then we landed in Georgia at around 5:30 their time. So yeah.
5:30. 5:30.
It might have been about 6:30 p.m. or 6:30 a.m. I should say. Yeah.
Your time, 3 hours, something like that, because
Yeah.
3 hours different.
Yeah. Well, I think it was 9 my time, so I think we landed 6:30 Georgia time. So it was
Yeah, 6
oh no, sorry, it would have been 6:30 my time, and it would have been 9. Yeah, apologies.
Yeah, 6 o'clock means 3 o'clock in the morning in California.
Yeah, so I was very tired. Yes.
Yeah. Well, could you sleep in the airplane?
Fortunately, yes. I was able to sleep for a lot of it. Yeah, it was a very comfortable seat.
Good. Well, I'd like to ask you about Corona situation. How passengers, well, how many people were there? I mean, not exactly the numbers, but a full or just a little bit, or how do you?
It was an absolutely full flight. It was full. I don't think I saw an empty seat. Yeah, it was an absolutely full flight.
Oh, so economically, it's coming back. That's great.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it looks like everybody's back and traveling, especially for the holiday. So
Yes, holiday. How about the mask? Were they having masks?
yeah, I think it's still legally required. Yeah, they're forcing you to. So everybody at the airport was all wearing masks, or everybody was wearing them there, and then on the plane, everybody was wearing them. And it was really strictly enforced to make sure you're wearing it. Yes.
I see. Oh, that's good, I would say.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely good. I mean, it's good in general, even if you don't have COVID, if you have just like a small cold or something, you don't want to be passing that on.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. Well, how about at the airport, Los Angeles? I've been there once, Los Angeles airport.
Yeah.
It's huge,
Yeah.
giant. Well, I'll tell you, 皆さん、ロサンゼルスのエアポートはですね、エアポートがたくさんあるような感じがするんです。エアポート、エアポート、エアポート、エアポート、エアポート、エアポート、エアポート。それがですね、バスで行くんですよ。例えば、羽田エアポートで言えば、羽田、そこで降りますよね。でもそうじゃないんです。ロサンゼルスの場合は、ロサンゼルスの so and so, I don't know how to call, but there are lots of buildings,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah. A
So,
lot of terminals. Yeah. Is what.
terminal.
Yeah.
It depends on which airplane you take.
They're split generally by the different companies. So like Delta, which is what I flew, they are Terminal 2.
Terminal 2.
Yeah.
I see. So each place has Terminal 1 or Terminal 2 or something like that?
Yeah. So I think there are 7 total Yeah, I think it's because there's one, two, three, and then four, I think is the international. You have five, six, seven on the other side. Yes.
I
A
see.
lot of terminals, yeah.
Yes, yes. So, how how minutes in advance you have to go to the airport?
So typically, you want to get there, especially for a holiday, you want to get there probably a couple hours early. If you have to check bags in, you definitely want to get there early because the bag lines are always really long. I personally, I never check any bags, and I also have a special thing called TSA pre-check, which is where they've already pre-verified all my info.
Oh,
It's like, yeah, you have to submit a background check to the government, and they'll check all your documents, but I can just kind of walk through security almost. So they do a quick, they'll still metal detect, or they'll do the metal detector on you, and they'll scan your bags, but you don't have to take your shoes off. Yeah, you can just walk on through. So,
wow.
yes.
彼の場合はいろいろな手続きをするのにスペシャルなカードを持っていらっしゃってもちろんセキュリティは通らないといけないんですけれどもそれ以外のいろいろなものは靴物がなくてもいいしもうさっさっさっていけるんだそうです。Wow, you are lucky.
I'm very lucky, yeah. And it was super easy to do. You just have to sign up in advance and then they just check your documents. It takes like 3 days.
It takes 3 days.
It takes 3 days for them to verify everything, and I think it's $75 for the application, but it's well worth it.
I see, I
Not having to
see.
wait in line. Waiting in line is terrible.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
ですね、彼のようにするためには、大体3日間かかるんですけれども、いろいろなコンピューターでいろいろな手続き記入して、そして出してチェックがあってそれで OK となるとそのスペシャルなカードがもらえて意外とこうスムーズにいけるんだそうです。それには$75、$75 って言って
I believe it
あ
right.
るんですけれども、but it's worth it。それぐらい出してもその方がいいと彼は言っています。Me too, I think so too.
I think so. Yeah, not having to wait is always good. So.
Yeah, that's right. And then next one. I heard you've been to Europe, right?
Yes, actually last November, I flew. Mhm.
So please just show us how you flew.
Yeah, let me pull this over just a little bit. So I started over here in Los Angeles, and then I flew all the way across over here to Spain.
Spain.
Yes, Spain, and then stayed there for a couple weeks. And then I went from Spain to England, and then back down to Spain, down to Morocco, back up to Spain, over to Russia in Moscow,
Yes.
and flew all the way back over and down home to Los Angeles. So lots of flights.
Yeah. So during this trip, you never had any problem? I mean, your baggage went somewhere or not just this time, but overall in your life.
Yeah, I've only ever had that happen once where
Just once?
yes, where my bags got misplaced. But we were able to go back to the airport the next day and grab them. It was in Georgia, actually, and Atlanta. And my dad lives close enough, so we called around and said, "Hey, where are my bags?" They found them, and we were able to go pick them up the next day.
Oh, that's great. And then you said only once? Problem is only once?
Only once, yeah. I fly all the time, and I've only ever had the one problem. So very lucky.
Very
Very
lucky.
lucky. Yeah.
私はですね、I have many problems.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
I don't like traveling at all.
And fortunately, I never check bags. I usually just carry them with me. So I always have them to not lose. So maybe that's also it. I don't usually check bags.
That's good. 彼はですね、だいたい荷物をそんなにたくさん持たないんです。それで機内持ち込み、それだけに大体するので、問題があったのはたった一度だけで、それはバッグを預けていた時だけだそうなんです。Yes. Well, you travel light.
I do. I pack it all. I'm pretty small, so I pack all my clothes together in a small bag.
Good. That's a good idea. Women, we tend to put lots of things.
If you want to take a lot, yeah, if you need to take a lot of stuff, then I can understand having to check. Yeah, I try to keep it as light as possible. If I get a small camera maybe, but most of it I just try to keep in one bag if I can.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Okay, then about the Europe trip.
Yeah.
Spain, how was the weather?
Spain, oh, it was amazing there. I think the first day I got there, it rained, and the second day, but every other day it was perfect. It was, even in
Mm.
November, it was probably 60, 70 degrees,
Mm.
always sunny, very light winds, and it was absolutely perfect.
I see.
Yeah, Spain was amazing.
I see. Well, how was the food?
Oh my goodness, the food was phenomenal. Not only the Spanish food, I tried a couple of Spanish dishes, and I would also, since you're in Europe, there's a ton of other cultures that kind of mix there, and I got to,
There are food from different
yeah,
countries.
different countries all kind of contribute because Spain's right there in that Mediterranean Sea, so
Okay.
they have a lot of Mediterranean food. One of my favorite are kebabs, which
I know kebabs is uh like things in
skewers.
yes,
Yeah,
or
very sim so what they'll do then is then they'll wrap it in, I think it's pita bread, and then yeah, and then you just eat it. It's almost like a taco, but a little bit thicker. Very good. So,
I
yeah,
see. How about fruit?
their fruit is very good as well because they'll source it from a lot of the local farms. One of my favorite, they had grapes there.
Grape.
They tasted so much better than any of the grapes that I've had here. So, yeah,
Really?
and I eat a lot of fruit, so I would stock up and eat as much as I could. So. Mhm.
Well, did you stay in a hotel or B&B or
Yes, I stayed in both. So for the most of my journey, I stayed in an Airbnb in Barcelona, and I stayed there with another man, and then he had one other guest as well. So there were three of us in here with his little cat, and then when I traveled to South Spain, and then up into Madrid, I stayed in hotels in those locations.
I see.
Hmm.
One moment, please.私、B&B と言いましたが、もちろんご存知の方多いと思いますけど、B&B means breakfast and bed。
Hmm.
朝ごはんと、それからベッドが用意されているっていうのが B&B というので、よくこう、出ています。I think each place has a unique personality
Hmm.
in B&B,
Of
I
course,
guess.
yeah, it depends on who's running it. Yeah, it's always cool to kind of get an insight into their lives. It's more of an authentic experience than a hotel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too. Well, after Spain, you went to England, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't I don't want to say something negative, but I hear many people say England food is not super good.
It is not very good, yes. That is true to say. It's okay. It's a very specific type. The good part about being in London, at least, is the same thing that I was saying about Spain. You get so many different cultures, so many different countries bring their own food there, which is really good. So,
Oh, so in London you can enjoy food.
yeah, one of my favorite places we went to a place called Nando's, and it's just Portuguese food, and it's a chain restaurant, but it was still really good. I got a nice chicken plate, and it was really good. And then we went down to Chinatown and got some boba, which was really good. And yeah, it was a really good little experience.
So before you had a trip, did you check a lot of things in advance, buying books and things like that?
Funny enough, I didn't plan very well. I just said I'm going to these places. I knew what dates I was going to the places, but I didn't really look up stuff to do there, and I just kind of went. So for London, while I was in Spain, I was like, oh, I've got a buddy in London. I might go visit him, and I texted him and said, hey, are you open? And so I just kind of got plane tickets while I was there. So
Oh,
it was just kind of a last minute thing, but
mm,
generally, if I do plan something out, I like to get really detailed about it. So.
good. Well, it's the end of November or December, the beginning of December.
So I left on November 9th, I want to say, and I think I returned November 26th. So I was gone. It was almost 3 weeks.
Yes, London. So
Oh, London. Oh, apologies. Yeah,
in November.
yeah, that was still in November. Yes.
Well, I hear a lot about fogs in London.
Hmm.
It's in winter. November, you don't have fog.
No, it wasn't very foggy, but it was very cloudy and it was cold. And I forgot my jacket, so I was really cold. Yes, I had a very thin jacket, but
So even November, it's cold.
it was very cold. Yeah, and it rained, and very light rain, but it still rained and it was very cloudy. So.
Mm.
The sun came out eventually, but it was for the most part still really cold.
Mm, I see. Well, then you said you went to Morocco.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a hot place, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It's right on the outside of there's the big desert. It's right on the outside of it. So
Yeah. Well, did you have summer clothes?
I did. Yes. Yeah. But it was still a little bit chilly there. But most of the days, depending on where you're at, if you got farther into the desert, I went and visited a city that was right outside the desert, and it was nice and hot there. So I wore like a tank top.
Mm. Well, how did you manage speaking wise? Do they speak English?
Fortunately, yes, they speak typically in Morocco, most parts they'll speak three languages. Arabic is the official language. Then they'll also speak a language called Berber. And then
Over?
Berber, yeah, it's the Berber people are like the nomadic people of Morocco, and then they'll also speak English. And
Oh,
if you go to the north part of Morocco, they'll also speak Spanish. So they speak sometimes French as well. So maybe five languages.
wow.
Yeah, they speak a lot of languages. Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Well, I'd like to ask you more about the trip. Can you have some time?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Well, then everybody this time goodbye, but he will come back again. Okay?
Okay.
Bye.